morning. So here we are here to give training about SAP HCM Time Management on specifically on PCRs and schemas. So this training will give you the confidence level of writing a schema and writing PCRs and adding all the functions and operations. So this is which is the thing entire thing basic technical things provided by Kasha training. Okay. So here in this session, let's start with the time management. So basically, we will be having many of the time inputs for which employee can be recorded. Employee's work time will be recorded. So for that, we have multiple sources like a punching machine, I mean swiping, swipe out, and also updating of timesheets, nothing but cross application timesheet. And also we have many kinds of inputs from the employee's time and work has been recorded in the SAP system. So you can see the screen on the screen as first block as employee self-service. Self-service in the sense employee is updating his timesheet, and the below time administrator will check the timesheet, and below that there is time recording system, which is nothing but we are updating our swipe in swipe outs. So all these things will be recorded into the time accounts in the cells, nothing but a time evaluation. So in which if time evaluation calculates how many works he worked, whether if he worked for overtime or whether he worked for one non-working day time or paid holiday time or something like that. This kind of calculations, everything will be done by the time evaluation, and the number of hours will be sent to the payroll team to be paid. Next slide. So these are the main components in time management, in which all the time components are required. Nothing but shift planning. Shift planning is something like your manager or your organization will decide what is the time or how many working hours employee have to work. It's nothing but shift planning will be done by your manager. And the next is CATS, cross application time sheet, which is updated by yourself if you are working from home, or if you are not going to the office, or if you are attending to the other client location. In those situations, you have to update your timesheets so that the data will be come and recorded in SAP infotype table 2002. In the same way, if we are going time recording in the sense we are going to the office, we will swipe in swipe out, swipe in swipe outs, which will be recorded in the infotype 2011. And these are the three sources, basic sources from the employees time will be recorded in the SAP, and these three will be calculated in the time evaluation. Time evaluation is nothing but calculation combining of all the components and calculating each day, each hour, and providing the entire desired output as how many hours are to the payroll team to make the monthly wages. Monthly wages, periodic wages, both are same. And in the slide here, if we are mentioning incentive wages, means it's a generic language. We can call as incentive wages, in which both the time-based types and payroll-based types are included. Okay. So the next slide, where we can see here, we can see attendances, absences, substitutions. So these three are getting clubbed into the managing time accounts. That means attendances in the sense employees updates. I mean employee updated timesheet data, which will be recorded in the attendances info type, nothing but info type 2002. If absences in the sense if somehow employees applies leave, long-term leave, maternity leave, or short-term leave, some kind of any kind of leave will be recorded in the absences info type, which is info type 2001. And the other one, substitutions. Substitutions is nothing but whenever the employee is working on holidays or weekends, or a company holiday. As per the company holiday, if it is a holiday and employee is going on working on that, so for that particular time we have to use the substitutions, which is infodep 2003. And this is, and also we have some kind of particular situations like unexpectedly in our areas band will be happen. Band, Rashtra Band, State Band, some kind of unexpected situations happens. That time also we have to close our offices forcefully. So, but system doesn't know that it's a band. So those situations will be recorded, which is as an example I gave you. This kind of dates mentioned, declared holidays, sudden declared holidays will be recorded in Infodep 2003. So altogether clubbing this and calculating in the time evaluation, which is shown here as manage time accounts, and this entire employees work time, overtime, or employees worked or took leaves, whatever it is, that can be determined as a pay to the payroll team. Okay, so next slide. Here we can see planned working time. That means nothing but shift planning, which I have already explained you. Next, time recording information, nothing but swipe in, swipe out, and absences, organization data, and employee data, personal data. So this is what employees basic data. The next slide. So these are the few important info types which is required data for time evaluation, only for the time management. So what data we need? Basic data is info type 7 is very basic, which we need information, and we have to run the time evaluation. In order to run the time evaluation, we need data to check whether it is keep on running or not. I mean, positive time evaluation or negative time evaluation will be decided with info type 7. The next info type 50. In this info type, employees card details will be stored. Swipe in, swipe out is recorded with the help of this card details to this particular employee number. So if any of the data is missing and we are running the time evaluation, definitely it throws us an error. Next info type ID 2001, which is an absences. I already explained you. If employee applies leave, that will be recorded. And info type 2002 attendances. This is nothing but employee updates his timesheet. That data will be recorded. This record will be saved here in this info type. And next, absence quota. Absence quota is nothing but to apply an absence. Somehow, one employee should have quota balance to apply leave. That will be recorded in info type 2006. And quota corrections, if any errors issues on applying leave even after having the balance, or even employee doesn't have the balance to then if employee have to apply the leave, there is something we have to update in info type 2013. Nothing but quota corrections. We can give flexi balance here. Nothing but we are giving additional flexi balance to apply the leave on the particular day in quota 2000 quota corrections info type 2003 13. Next, time transfer specifications, which is in which we have time balances saved in this info type. I will explain. I can explain you this for the time of running time evaluation. So this is the basic time evaluation calculation done with the entire inputs of the employee from all the info types. So from all the info types, time evaluation will club the data and it runs and calculates absences, it calculates attendances, it calculates quota corrections if were made or flexi balance is given, and calculates all kinds of the things, and it displays us the actual balance of time worked. Nothing but time evaluation, and this time evaluation will run on daily basis as a background job for every company. Next, to update this time evaluation, what we need, the basic thing, we will give one schema. So giving a schema is nothing but updating mm, updating employee data and that data will be captured by this schema. So in this schema, we define the program logic of what we are telling the system to calculate entire time. And if it is positive time management, schema will identify if employee is under positive time management, and it will run for all the dates and times worked, even if it is overtime or absences. So thus everything is programmed and logically programmed inside PCRs, nothing but personal calculation rules and functions. Functions is a club of multiple logical operations, logical functions, which runs multiple PCRs. And PCRs means personal calculation rules. Inside this, we add our own logic with the help of operations. We'll give an operation and the PCR will be running it. So once this PCR is run, so the function will decide what next PCR to be run. And at the time of the schema updated as per the schema structure, we also have pulled or called several PCRs within the schema. So based on all, with this, with the help of this schema, all these rules and operations will be run and programmatically and logically calculated. Everything will be stored in time base types or base types. So this is about schema. So there we have multiple schemas for multiple countries. For each country, there is a different schema. So here, this schema will be decided based on the time management status, info type 7. So according to the employees time management status in info type 7, if it is updated 0, as we have several, mm, let me show you here. As per this data, this employee time management evaluation of actual times one in the sense actual times in the sense we can be considering TM00 time evaluation per personal time events. Okay, so in the same way we have PDC time evaluation of plant times, and time evaluation of actual times, time evaluation without payroll integration. So as per the different status, we have multiple schemas to be used. This schema is a standard schema given by SAP. We will directly copy this and we will create a new schema as per the company's requirement. The next, this is the basic structure. I mean, this is a sample PCR. What I have done in my last previous as per the previous client requirement. In this PCR, what I am doing, the basic requirement of this PCR is to give certain amount of hours to the employee based on employee's experience. So if employee's experience is 5 years, we have to give 5 hours as an leave data. If employee's experience is more than 5 years, we have to give different number as leave. So this is basing on this requirement. I have designed this PCR. So I'm explaining you the same here. So in this PCR, basically, I will explain you clearly how to write a PCR, and PCR can be written in both for time management and payroll. So this is only time management PCR that I will explain you in my further classes. How to prepare or create a PCR only for time management and only for payrolls. And also we need time based types or payroll based types as well. For time management, definitely we need only time based types. So time based types will be created by ourselves. That has to be created. So we have to create those time based types in different table. That also I will explain you in my further classes. So how these time based types will be created and what time based types will be holded, that also that I can show you now. If we go to SM13, this is the basic configuration table. where we can see and open the 555. Yeah. So if you go on display, so these are all the time types. So time types, and time types are different, time waste types are different. So time types where we can see in infotype, in a configuration table T555A, and for time waste type selection we can go for T510S. There is a different, many other different configuration tables. I will explain you very clearly in my later sessions. So I opened for T555A table to show how the time type behavior can be done. So here this is some kind of configuration table. We will create our time types and we can say here save as day balance. Based on our given inputs here in these tables, we can set this time types or time waste types behavior. So this is a functional consultant responsibility to create a time waste types and to set its behavior. Okay. So this is the technical thing of time waste types. What I have created here in the below as ZPA2. ADDDB, here I created ZPA2 and I used it in my PCR. So if we explain you this PCR, here we can see I took HRS equal to one. I gave one operation. This is a technical thing. Why I am giving this operation? Y D R M Z phi. Y means yearly, D means differences, R will minus will it's an operation, M means monthly, Z phi means it's a kind of subtype from infotype 41. Not 41, it's a kind subtype. Yes, infotype 41. If I open infotype 41 to show you what is Z phi, what is infotype 41? It's a date specifications. This infotype record employs hire date, last hire date, recent hire date, termination date, all the dates. Specifically, this infotype will holds only dates. So with the help of this Z5 for this template is not there. That depends as per the client. As per this client, I am recording hire date as ZZ. So that is for a different client. Z5 I used it here. So as per this client, it is ZG and this is the hire date, last hire date. So in my PCR, I used this Z5. As per this client, it should be Z as Z5. So I took this higher date Z5 and Y means yearly. I'm taking the differences, monthly calculations, and it will give me a number of months. M means monthly, which gives me number of months. So what will happen here? It will check for the hire date and it will calculate. For example, if it is as per this hire date 10/3/2016, 2016 March, 2016 March to 2020 March. 2020 March in the sense we have to see how many hours will get recorded. What's in the sense this HRS equal to, it will take those number of hours. That means I am calculating number of months. So 35 months in the sense nearly more than 3 years, right? So if I am calculating here, if we comparing with the number of coming hours here in this value, that hours I am comparing here with 35. That means I want to get, if it is more, if it is less than 3 years or more than 3 years, what I have to do? I have to, if it is equal to, giving some value inside this operation. If it is greater than, I am checking with more than 36. That means more than 3 years. So here, how many years we got? For example, if it is 2000, let's say as 2010, hire date as 2010, same October. 2010 means by today, it's 10 years. 2010 to 2020 means 10 years. So we have 12 months, that means 120 months. So 120 is greater than 35. So this PCR will go into this greater than logic. So again 120 compares with 120, it will check again it is greater than, so it went into the greater than logic. Again it will check with 95, 95 again it is greater than. HRS Rs 120 is greater than 95, again it will go to this greater than, and now it will see why what is more than 96. There I am adding HRS equal to 0. Here the value whatever I gave, that value will be added in this time type. ADD means add, DB means day balance, to ZPA2. ZPA2 is the time type what I have created, explained you before, and I have given one more operation Z. So this kind of operations will be explained it to you, and I will taught you and will make you ready how to write this PCR. So this is what our main agenda, to update you how we are going to work on it. So let me show you some technical things with the help of our time evaluation. So I'm taking this employee number as a example. I'll run a time evaluation and I'll show it to you how time evaluation works. PD60 is the basic T code. I give employee number. So as this employee is US, so I have to see what is the time schema for US. It's -104. For every country, there is different schemas, even in payroll or even in time. So I will go for test run first, and I'll see whether this can be executed or not. If it throws error, we have to see the error and we have to rectify those errors. That's what functional content's job. So every time SAP will not give us the direct error message. Always SAP gives us the indirect messages. Why? Because SAP time evaluation will run all the info types phase wise, one by one. So if an error comes from the initial info types 0 or 1, there itself it will stop. Or if we are on rectifying that one, it will check another info type. If there is another error, it will stop in mid of that info type, like info type 50, 2001, 2002, everything. So we have to clear messages or errors given by time evaluation. So let's time evaluation is running. So let's get it run. Meanwhile, I'll show you employees basic things. Let's see the schema. The T code for schema is PE01. So as I gave schema, and if I click on display, so this is the basic schema screen. As I'm in display mode, you will see like this. So here we will give command lines, and in this command what has to be run, we'll write it here. So actually this schema will be having some basic blocks that I will explain you once time evaluation is complete. So this is the basic structure of schema. These are the number of lines. This is where we give the functions of schema, and parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, parameter 4, and this is the text. So these parameters nothing but we give PCRs. So what is this function? COM function. So there is one more function, Bini, Axio, mod, any, begin of initialization. Axio means which calls PCR, mod means modification, and any means end of initialization. So these all functions will be explained to you in my further sessions. So schema is a very big thing. So within the schema, there are many PCRs. If you check what is this PCR, so this itself is a PCR. If you click on display, this is the PCR, what is going on, what is happening here. So what is the T code for PCR? It's, let me open the same PCR, what is happening over here. Let's take one PCR and check what is happening inside. I'll show you. Let's take this one. And schema PCR's T code is PE02 rule. So let's see. So while creating this, here we have to give stars and 4 stars. 1 star, single star is for employees grouping, and all stars means considering all waste types and time types. I will explain you this further in the time of further classes. I am at the time of explanation. So this is the basic PCR. I took one sample PCR from the schema and I am showing it to you. What is this? Processing absence with compensation time. So we can see here B is an operation. CU or MO means current month. So it is checking HRS equal to which month. So we are comparing this HRS with 12. I mean SAP is, this is SAP standard PCR. I am explaining you here. This HRS comparing with 12, and again if it is less than, if it is, we close this, we can see what is the main agenda. If it is equal to, this will do one thing. If it is less than or equal to, it will go to some other things. So let's check with what happens if it is equal to. If it is equal, 12th month, I mean it's December, again it will see the number of days. CUR means current, D means day, current day. If its current day is compared with 31, in a month we have 31 days compared with 31. So if it is equal to 31, then what will happen? It will go to the condition. So this condition is false and this PCR will not be processed. If it is less than or equal to, it went into the star. So now it is not equal to. If it is less than or equal to, it went into the star. So now here it will check VRST NDYAC. Matlab, that means it will check whether that particular day is active or not. If yes, what it will do? Condition is true. System will allow to process other PCR. If not true, not active, then what system will do? It will go to the employee group. Here this is an operation OUTWPE PRSG. PRSG means is a field name, employee group. If employee group is 1, then condition is true, it will process to other PCR. If employee is not, group is not 1, then what system will do? If check for the, it is again checking for the condition. S scorned means check condition. Condition is true or false. So this standard PCR, what it is doing, it is checking, just checking only the conditions. So let's see whether our time violation is done or not. Okay, this is a time violation. Now the log is being loaded. Okay, so this is what about the basic PCR what I explained you. I took just a sample PCR. We will see one more PCR based on the time evaluation. So what time evaluation is doing? Yeah, our time evaluation is done. So I have run this time evaluation simply like that. Due to the memory low, it have run only up to 2019. Okay, so let's see what is happening here inside this PCR, inside this schema. Hmm. So from 2019 Jan, one schema is already open. So these are the basic blocks of schema: provide time data, calculation day, overtime, absences, checking holidays, checking time waste types, processing, and managing time accounts. Managing time accounts nothing but which after enter calculation will be shown up here. So these are the PCRs. Axio means call this PCR, which is written inside the schema. This is PCR for that 2006. P2006 means 2006. In-depth knowledge will be given to you in my further sessions. So, for example, if it is a message issued for this employee, last name and first name. So let's think what is this. Let's dig inside. What is this happening here inside this PC? This inside this call rule. So why we got this message? As a basic example, I'm showing it to you. Why we got that this message? So if we dig inside this PCR call rule or personal calculation rule or are same. It's getting terminated due to high memory. I'm sorry about that. PT60. Let's run this only for one day so that I can show it to you very quickly. For the current date, let's give 10/03/2020 for 3 days. This is forced recalculation, means it will run from this date to this date. Or if we do some master data changes, then also it will run for this date. Let's give 01/11 at least 3 days, and I will go for test run and I click on execute. Meanwhile, I have to show you the basic PCRs, which are TMON PCR. Let's go to the T code P02. Display. If we see this TMON PCR, we will see it is a basic PCR for employee group subgroup. This employee group groupings and employee group subgroups table will be set in T503. So, which is nothing but P type A. P type A, set of all the employee groups, subgroups for PCR. And the next one, the date modifiers, which given here modif WTAL. What are these modif WTAL? W means nothing but the time waste type selection. This one W means it's nothing but the time waste type selection rule group. It's a kind of rule group. These all time waste types can be updated during T510s. That also I will explain you separately. And T means time type determination group for the time type table. A means here below. A means employee grouping for absence valuation, and L means time balance rules. So these all will be explained to you very clearly. Just give me a minute. So these PCRs can be explained to you very clearly in my further sessions. So this at least for 3 days also this time evaluation is taking long much time. Okay, so this is about basic TMON PCR, which and every schema has to go through these basic things. Okay, so I want to show you once this employee stimulation is done for at least for one day, we'll go through the more technical things in the demo itself. So I'm just waiting here, waiting for such things to be run with the help of time evaluation. Once this is done, I can tell you more details inside this. Let's get finished for 3 days. Meanwhile, let me explain you time types. As I showed you, T555A. So this is time type 0000, which is utility time type, and this saves day balance, and balance will be saved in the ZES table, which can be seen inside our time evaluation log, and the utility time type. These two are the basic standard time types. And next important time type is 0110. This one. This also a basic important standard time type, and this time type stores periodic balance. Periodic balance means monthly or weekly. This can be stored in TES table. TS table. So here the property has been set as 1, periodic balance. These are the properties. So the next important time type is 100. 0100. Where is this one? Full time. Full time. Full time means this stores data in saldo table. So all this what I'm telling you is just TES saldo. Everything can be detailed explained you inside this log. Inside the log. So let this PCR, I mean the time evaluation runs. Once it is run successfully and displays the log like last time, I can able to explain you. So meanwhile, I can tell you the other indicators inside the tip table. Okay, you got something. Let's wait for a few seconds. See here, let's open for one day and see what is there. So these are the basic building blocks of time evaluation. Providing initialization. First step is initialization, then provide time data, then calculating day, calculating overtime, calculating absences, checking holidays, selecting waste types, processing these waste types, and managing time accounts. These are the only basic blocks, building blocks for the schema. So inside this, if we open and see, first in the block of initialization, what is happening? Here I will show you. So in this employee eligibility, it checks whether employee is eligible or not. That means what is the eligibility? So this is the PCR, less than 1 BE. Is a PCR, standard PCR given by SAP. So what it is checking inside, we'll see. Shit. This history, let's give for one day. Okay, meanwhile, let me explain you. There are few origin indicators in initialization block. Origin indicators in the sense that can be called, technically we can call it as tip entry, tip table, TAP tip table. So where this time data is stored. So in this tip table, we can see a few characters like saved as a character, like EOAPRDC. Referring to multiple info types in data. If data is there, that particular letter will be recorded here in the tip table. 0001 and give employee group as 0 and your company code as US star and search. Give end date as 99 and we click on execute and see we have. Let's check this employee and run a small time evaluation here. It is 60 and as we know schema is minus 104. Yeah, we got person number already ended early. That means this employee is retired or separated from the company. Let's see in PA30 we can see everything in info type tables. As you know, you go and select the actions, what happened. So this employee was hired in 2003, but why? So we have to find out what happened. Person number shall not selected. So there may be some other strategies of this employee. Let's take other employee which is not which is successful. Execute. The successful employee number definitely will be having a lot of log. Let's see. At least we got this log. This is still running, and I'm also trying to run in development. If data is there, definitely it will come. So this is all about the data. Meanwhile, let me go take you to some other tables. So let's me explain you about processing time types. Processing time types and time type classes will be shown in table p underscore 554s underscore is not in dictionary. Okay, p554s. So these are the leave type. 554s is created leave types. It's not time types. It's a leave data table. T554s. We what all the leaves have been created will be shown up here in this table. So we have a different table to explain about to see about the processing types and time types. That is what I'm trying to show you. So basically what I want to tell you is to explain you about all employee groupings and possible pay types for every info type, all the stuffs, attendance status, pay type in time evaluation, how it looks like. So I was trying to show you all the stuff. So we got some data. Let's open one, and this time very carefully I will explain you only on top. We are not going very deep inside. So this is Axio. As you can see, I showed you in the schema as well. This is the PCR which reads table modifier things, and this way this is the calculating of day balances, attendances, absences, plant. So these are the standard PCRs. So few of there are many few PCRs which can be updated by the client itself. So I was trying to show you since long about this tip table. I'm not sure whether there's no data inside. So if they, how we will identify whether data is there or not? there will be a document icon before this TIP. So based on that, we can see whether data is there or not. So for the sample employees, there is no data inside. Even if we drill down, again it will go to the dump error. So to give you the particular example, we have to create the data. That is what the importance of data. If data is not there, system definitely will go to the dumps. So basically, so this is the structure of schema. In this schema, it will go to first, it will go for the initialization, and then it will go to the all the basic building blocks. Provide time data, calculating attendance and absences, check for the overtime, and just check for the waste types, and check for the holiday processing classes, and managing time accounts. Managing time accounts, what will happen? It will give, if quota is required, it will give quota. Entire quota will be saved in the CUMBT table. So, oh, see this. This is the document number. I mean icon. So if this icon is there, that means data is there inside. Then we can go double click inside and we can see. So these are all the time types. These are all the time types, and for all the time types, there is a number which is days or hours, but not amounts. In time management, input output. So if you check the just table, this is source daily data and salary to data. This is the saldo table. Basic, these are very basic tables. Saldo table. If you open, it will show you the periodic balance, that is monthly balance, like this. These are the time types. So based on those time types, this time types will be called inside this leave types, and for this leave types, particular quota has been given here. Okay. So this is what the technical thing what I am going about to explain you, and top of this CUMBT. So here the accrual processing is going on. Everything is the logic is written inside this PCR. If we see what's happening inside this PCR, I am not sure whether it may open or it go to dump. Yes, one more. Manage time accounts, and if we see the quota processing, let's do not dig more inside. We'll create the data and my further sessions, and then when we'll explain you very clearly about how this quota processing happens and how data comes into this MBT balances table. So this is what I am going to explain you in my further sessions about all the basic building blocks of schema.